Hello, my friend. Welcome to my Fall Asleep channel, a place created for calm, rest, and gentle nights. If you enjoy peaceful stories like this, you are warmly invited to subscribe and return whenever you need to slow down. Now allow yourself to get comfortable, let the day fade away, and enjoy a quiet and pleasant rest. Let's begin. The sense of weight begins to soften slowly, not disappearing, just becoming less important, as if gravity has decided to relax rather than release. The body feels supported in a new way, not by a surface, but by balance itself. There is no lifting sensation, no sudden change, only a gradual easing that feels natural and unremarkable. Around you, space opens gently, not as emptiness, but as a wide, calm presence, deep and quiet, layered with distant light. Stars appear slowly, not sharp or demanding, but softened by distance, scattered evenly across the dark, none of them asking to be named, none of them close enough to matter. There is no clear direction here, no up, no down, no forward or back. The idea of orientation fades without effort. Movement exists, but it is subtle, more like drifting than traveling, as if the entire scene is adjusting around stillness rather than moving through it. Far away, a planet rests in silence, not approaching, not receding, its curved edge barely visible, wrapped in a thin halo of reflected light. The surface details are indistinct, softened by distance, oceans and land blending into gentle tones. Nothing sharp enough to hold attention for long. Breathing continues on its own, slower now, quieter. Each inhale light and brief, each exhale longer, releasing without effort. The space between breaths feels open and calm, like a wide pause that does not need to end. The stars shift almost imperceptibly, not passing by, but slowly rearranging over time. Familiar patterns lose their shape, then form again in new ways. Constellations dissolve into simple points of light. There is no reason to recognize them. They exist equally whether they are known or not. A faint cloud of dust drifts across the distance, particles moving together without collision, without urgency. This is how matter behaves when nothing pushes it. When time stretches wide enough to remove pressure, colors remain muted, soft whites, pale blues, hints of silver, blending quietly into the dark. The body feels gently aligned now, as if every part has settled into its most comfortable position. Arms resting without weight, legs extended without tension, the face relaxed and neutral, the muscles around the eyes completely soft. There is no sensation asking to be adjusted, no signal requesting movement. Time no longer feels like a line. It feels like a wide field, moments resting beside one another, overlapping gently. There is no clear beginning to this drift, and no sense of where it might lead. Farther out, a thin ribbon of light curves slowly through space, not bright enough to draw focus, just present. Energy traveling quietly, unchanged by distance, unchanged by observation. It does not speed up, it does not slow down, it simply continues. The stars seem farther apart now, not because they have moved, but because awareness has widened. The space between things feels larger, calmer, more open. There is room here for stillness, room for quiet, room for nothing in particular. The drift continues without direction, without destination, carried by balance rather than motion. The body remains at ease, the surroundings remain steady, and the quiet holds everything gently in place, allowing the journey to unfold slowly, without effort, without interruption. The surrounding darkness begins to feel less like distance and more like depth, not something far away, but something that gently surrounds everything at once. Space does not press in, It opens outward, wide and unhurried. The planet that rested at the edge of view drifts farther into the background, not moving away quickly, just becoming less defined, its curved outline softening until it blends into the dark. The thin halo fades gradually, leaving behind only the suggestion that it was ever there at all. Nearer now, small points of light pass slowly through awareness, not stars, but distant reflections, particles catching faint energy as they drift, each one moving on its own quiet path, never colliding, never rushing. This is motion without urgency, the kind that needs no correction. The body remains completely at ease. There is no sense of floating upward or falling downward, only suspension, as if held in perfect balance. Breathing continues quietly, steady and light, each breath occupying very little space, the pause between breaths feeling spacious and calm. Far beyond, a soft band of color stretches across the darkness, pale and diffuse, not bright enough to draw focus, its edges unclear, blues and muted whites blending together. This is a region where dust and light meet slowly, where particles gather and separate over long spans of time. Nothing here happens suddenly. Changes unfold so gradually they almost feel still. Light shifts without being noticed. Distance rearranges itself quietly. Awareness widens without effort. The stars appear less like objects now and more like a background texture, evenly scattered, constant. They no longer stand out individually. They form a gentle field of light that holds the scene together. The body feels lighter still, not lifted, just unburdened. Muscles remain loose and quiet. There is no sensation of weight pulling in any direction. The face remains relaxed, the jaw resting easily, the eyes completely still. Time stretches further, not longer, just broader. Moments no longer follow one another. They exist together, layered softly. There is no need to know how long the drift has lasted or how long it will continue. A distant glow appears briefly, then fades. Energy traveling through space without sound, without signal. It passes through the scene without altering it, leaving everything unchanged. The surrounding quiet feels complete, not empty, simply sufficient. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to arrive. The drift continues at its own calm pace. Space holds everything gently now. Stars, dust, light, and the resting body, all balanced together, suspended in a wide stillness, allowing the journey to continue slowly, naturally, without direction, without interruption. The sense of distance becomes less defined now, not because things are closer, but because the idea of measuring space has softened. What surrounds you feels evenly present. The darkness no longer stretches away. It simply exists, calm and unbroken. Light behaves gently here. It does not shine or fade abruptly. It drifts, spreading thinly across vast areas, touching dust and particles without changing their path. Faint glimmers appear and disappear without drawing focus, as if space itself is breathing slowly. The body remains suspended in this balance, supported without effort. There is no surface beneath, no pressure anywhere. Arms rest where they are. Legs remain extended and quiet. The spine feels naturally aligned, as if every part has found its most comfortable arrangement. Breathing continues in a soft rhythm, barely noticeable. Each inhale light and brief, each exhale long and unhurried. The space between breaths feels open, wide enough to rest in. Far away, a cluster of stars forms a loose curve, not sharp enough to define, just a gentle suggestion of structure. Over time, the curve loosens. Points of light drift apart. The pattern dissolves quietly. Nothing here stays fixed for long, and nothing needs to. A faint stream of particles passes through the distance, moving together without contact, each following its own slow path, guided by balance rather than force. This is motion without direction, travel without destination. The body feels almost transparent now, not disappearing, just blending more easily with the quiet. Sensations soften further. Awareness spreads evenly instead of focusing on any one place. Time continues to widen, not stretching forward, not looping back. Moments overlap gently, resting beside one another. There is no sense of waiting, no anticipation, only continuation. A distant glow appears again, softer this time, spreading across a broad region, its color muted and calm. It does not approach, it does not retreat. It simply remains until it fades naturally back into the dark. Space feels steady and patient, holding everything without effort. Nothing drifts too fast, nothing pulls away. The balance remains constant. The drift carries on, slow and unhurried, surrounded by quiet light, suspended in calm distance, allowing the journey to continue exactly as it is, without direction, without expectation, and without interruption. The surrounding quiet deepens in a subtle way, not heavier, just more settled, as if space itself has grown comfortable with stillness. The darkness no longer feels vast or distant. It feels close and evenly distributed, holding everything gently without pressure. Light appears only when it needs to, faint and diffused, spreading thinly across enormous distances, touching particles that drift patiently through the dark, each one moving at its own calm pace, unaffected by observation, unaffected by time. The body remains suspended in perfect balance. There is no sensation of drifting forward or backward, no turning, no rotation, only a quiet sense of being held exactly where you are. Muscles stay loose, joints remain quiet. There is nothing to adjust, nothing to settle further. Breathing continues softly, almost transparent. Air moves in without sound, leaves just as gently. The pause between breaths feels wide and open, like a calm space that does not need to be filled. Far beyond, a broad field of stars stretches outward, not forming patterns, not inviting recognition, simply present. Points of light separated by vast, calm spaces. Over time, some grow fainter, others slightly brighter. The changes are so gradual they feel almost imaginary. A soft veil of dust drifts across the distance, pale and barely visible, particles moving together without touching, without friction. This is matter at rest within motion, traveling without urgency, without destination. The body feels increasingly neutral now, not light, not heavy, simply present. Awareness no longer rests in any single place. It spreads evenly, calm and unanchored. Time feels wide and unstructured. Moments do not follow one another. They coexist, layered gently. There is no sense of progression, no sense of delay, only a quiet continuity that does not ask to be measured. A distant glow moves slowly across the far edge of awareness, not approaching, not leaving, just shifting softly before dissolving back into darkness. Nothing is changed by its passing. Space remains steady and patient, holding stars, dust, light, and quiet awareness together, balanced without effort. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and softened light, allowing the journey to move on gently, exactly as it is, without direction, without expectation, and without any need for change. The quiet begins to feel even more expansive now, not stretching outward, but settling inward, as if space has learned how to rest. Darkness no longer suggests distance or depth. It feels evenly present, calm and consistent in every direction. Light appears sparingly, thin traces moving across immense regions, never sharp, never bright. It glides softly through dust and particles that drift in patient alignment. Nothing collides, nothing resists. Everything moves as slowly as it needs to. The body remains suspended in this balance, supported without contact. There is no sense of orientation left, no front or back, no sense of turning or drifting, only a quiet stillness held in perfect equilibrium. Muscles remain loose, the neck relaxed, the face soft and neutral. Breathing continues quietly, almost unnoticed. Air enters gently, leaves just as easily. The pause between breaths feels broad and calm, like a wide open space with nothing inside it. Far away, a loose gathering of stars begins to thin, points of light drifting apart over time, their arrangement changing so gradually that it feels like stillness. Patterns dissolve into openness. Nothing here needs to remain fixed. A faint glow spreads across a distant region, muted and soft, its edges unclear, color blending gently into darkness. It does not move toward you. It does not move away. It simply exists until it fades naturally, leaving the surrounding quiet unchanged. The body feels increasingly blended with the environment, not dissolving, just resting more evenly within it. Sensations soften further. Awareness spreads gently instead of focusing. There is nothing to hold attention, nothing to follow. Time feels almost irrelevant now, not slowing, not speeding up, simply losing its structure. Moments rest together without order, overlapping softly. There is no sense of waiting, no sense of arrival. Space continues to hold everything in calm balance. Stars, dust, light, and quiet awareness. Nothing pressing forward, nothing pulling back. The drift carries on without direction, without destination, surrounded by softened darkness and distant light, allowing the journey to continue slowly, effortlessly, exactly as it is. The surrounding space begins to feel almost familiar now, not because it has been explored, but because it no longer needs to be understood. The darkness holds steady, evenly distributed, neither approaching nor receding, simply present in a calm, consistent way. Light behaves gently across this wide stillness, faint traces moving through vast distances, never sharp enough to draw attention, never bright enough to interrupt the quiet. Particles drift slowly through these soft glows, each following a path shaped by balance rather than force. The body remains suspended without effort. No sensation of floating, no sensation of falling, just a quiet equilibrium that feels complete. Arms rest without weight, legs extend without tension. The spine feels naturally aligned, as if it has always known this position. Breathing continues at its own calm pace, subtle and unforced, each inhale arriving lightly, each exhale leaving slowly. The pause between breaths feels wide and open, a resting place rather than a gap. Far across the field of awareness, stars appear to shift not in position, but in emphasis, some growing slightly dimmer, others quietly emerging. The changes unfold so slowly they feel timeless. Patterns never settle long enough to become familiar, then soften again. A thin stream of dust drifts through a distant region, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without contact, without sound. This is motion that carries no urgency, travel without intention. The body feels increasingly neutral now, not light, not heavy, simply present. Awareness spreads evenly, no longer anchored to any single sensation. The face remains soft, the jaw relaxed, the eyes completely still. Time continues to lose structure. Moments no longer follow one another. They exist together, layered gently. There is no sense of how long the drift has been unfolding. and no need to know. A muted glow appears at the edge of perception, spreading slowly across a wide area, its color subdued and calm. It does not approach. It does not linger. It fades naturally, leaving the surrounding space unchanged. Everything remains held in quiet balance: light, dust, stars, and resting awareness. Space offers no resistance, no direction, no expectation. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and softened light, allowing the journey to move forward gently, without effort, without destination, and without any need for change. The sense of motion becomes almost imperceptible now, not because it has stopped, but because it has blended so completely with stillness that the two feel the same. Space no longer feels vast or distant. It feels evenly present, surrounding everything without edges, without pressure. Light continues to move quietly through this calm expanse, spreading thinly across immense distances, touching drifting particles without altering their paths. Faint glimmers appear and soften again, never asking for attention, never forming anything that needs to be recognized. The body remains suspended in perfect balance. There is no sensation of being held up, no sense of floating away, only a stable equilibrium that feels effortless and complete. Arms rest without weight. Legs remain extended and quiet. The spine feels naturally aligned, as if it has settled into a position that requires no correction. Breathing continues softly, barely noticeable. Air enters lightly, leaves slowly. The space between breaths feels wide and calm, like a gentle pause that has no beginning or end, far beyond awareness. Stars continue their slow rearrangement, not moving past, not approaching, simply shifting emphasis over time, points of light growing slightly dimmer or brighter, patterns forming loosely, then dissolving again. Nothing here remains fixed long enough to matter. A pale band of dust stretches across a distant region, particles drifting together without contact, without sound. This is matter moving at a pace where time feels irrelevant, where nothing needs to arrive and nothing needs to leave. The body feels increasingly blended with the environment, not dissolving, just resting more evenly within the quiet. Sensations soften further. Awareness spreads gently instead of focusing. There is no single point that draws attention. Time feels almost absent now, not slowed, not extended, simply unstructured. Moments exist together, overlapping softly, without sequence, without urgency. A faint glow appears briefly, spreading across a wide area, muted and calm, its edges unclear. It remains just long enough to be present, then fades naturally back into the dark, leaving everything unchanged. Space holds everything in steady balance: light, dust, distant stars, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The calm remains consistent. The drift continues without direction, without destination, surrounded by softened darkness and distant light, allowing the journey to carry on gently, effortlessly, exactly as it is. The surrounding quiet feels settled into something steady and familiar now, not because it repeats, but because nothing needs to change. Space holds its shape without edges. Darkness remains even and calm, no longer something to move through, simply something that exists everywhere at once. Light drifts softly across immense distances, never forming lines or borders, just faint traces moving through dust and particles that travel patiently together, each one following its own quiet balance, never colliding, never rushing, motion unfolding without effort. The body remains suspended in this calm equilibrium. There is no sensation of direction, No forward or backward, no sense of turning, only a gentle stillness that supports everything evenly. Arms rest without weight, legs remain quiet, the face stays soft and neutral. Breathing continues quietly in the background, subtle and unforced, each inhale brief and light, each exhale long and easing. The pause between breaths feels open and calm, like space that does not need to be filled. Far away, stars seem less like individual points now and more like a soft texture spread across the darkness. Some fade slightly, others become just visible. The changes unfold so slowly they feel timeless. Patterns never settle long enough to be noticed, then soften again. A wide veil of dust drifts across the distance, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without sound, without friction. This is motion that carries no urgency, travel that does not require arrival. The body feels increasingly neutral, not light, not heavy, simply present. Awareness spreads evenly rather than resting anywhere specific. Sensations soften further, leaving a quiet clarity that requires no attention. Time continues to lose structure, not stretching forward, not looping back. Moments exist together, layered gently. There is no sense of waiting, no sense of progress, only continuity. A distant glow appears briefly at the edge of awareness, muted and calm, spreading across a broad region. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into darkness, leaving the surrounding space unchanged. Everything remains held in quiet balance: stars, dust, light, and resting awareness. Nothing presses forward. Nothing pulls away. Space remains patient and steady. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by softened darkness and distant light, allowing the journey to continue gently, without direction, without destination, and without any need for change. The calm remains unbroken as awareness drifts a little wider, not expanding outward, but becoming more evenly spread. Space no longer feels like something surrounding you. It feels like something you are resting within, balanced and quiet, without edges to define it. Light continues its slow, patient movement, thin traces passing through vast distances, never gathering enough strength to become bright, never fading enough to disappear completely. Dust and particles move through these soft glows in loose alignment, each following a path shaped by balance rather than force. The body remains effortlessly suspended. There is no sensation of position, no signal of rotation or drift. The idea of movement has softened into something neutral. Arms rest where they are, legs remain quiet and extended. The face stays relaxed, features smooth and still. Breathing continues with very little movement now. Air enters gently, leaves just as quietly. The pause between breaths feels wide and undisturbed, like a calm space where nothing needs to happen. Far across the field of awareness, stars lose their individuality, blending into a subtle background texture. Some points of light dim slowly, others emerge just enough to be noticed. The changes unfold so gradually they feel almost imagined. Patterns form loosely, then dissolve again. A broad, faint band of dust stretches across a distant region, its edges unclear, particles drifting together without contact, without sound. This is matter moving at a pace where time no longer presses, where distance no longer matters. The body feels increasingly integrated with the quiet, not fading, just resting more evenly within it. Sensations soften further. Awareness no longer anchors to any single point. It spreads gently, calm and unoccupied. Time feels open and undefined, Moments do not arrive or pass. They simply exist together, layered softly. There is no sense of how long the drift has continued, and no need to measure it. A muted glow appears briefly, spreading across a wide area at the edge of perception, its color subdued and calm. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the dark, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing pulls forward, nothing pushes back. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to carry on effortlessly, exactly as it is. The surrounding stillness begins to feel complete in a quiet, settled way, not finished, simply whole. Space no longer suggests travel or distance. It feels evenly present, calm and unchanging, holding everything without effort. Light moves so slowly now that it barely feels like movement. Faint traces drifting through wide regions, touching dust and particles without altering their paths. Nothing gathers, nothing disperses quickly. Everything remains in gentle balance. The body continues to rest without sensation of position. There is no awareness of floating or drifting, only a neutral steadiness that requires no attention. Arms remain relaxed, legs quiet, the face soft and unmoving. Breathing flows quietly, almost transparent. Each inhale brief and light, each exhale long and easing. The space between breaths feels open and undisturbed, like a calm interval with no beginning or end, far beyond awareness. Stars continue their slow rearrangement, not moving closer or farther, simply shifting emphasis over time. Some dim slightly, others emerge gently. Patterns never settle long enough to become familiar, then soften again. A thin veil of dust drifts across the distance, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without contact, without sound. This is motion that carries no urgency, no direction, only continuity. The body feels fully at ease within this quiet. Sensations soften further. Awareness spreads evenly instead of focusing. There is nothing to observe closely, nothing to follow. Time feels almost absent now, not stretched, not slowed, simply unstructured. Moments rest together without order, without pressure. There is no sense of waiting, no anticipation. A faint glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, muted and calm, spreading softly across a wide area. It remains just long enough to be present, then fades naturally back into darkness, leaving the surrounding space unchanged. Everything remains held in steady balance: light, dust, distant stars, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by softened darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, calm and steady, exactly as it is. The quiet remains steady as awareness drifts without effort, not expanding, not contracting, simply resting evenly within the calm of space. There is no sense of moving through anything now, only the feeling of being gently held where everything already belongs. Light appears only as faint suggestion, thin traces passing through immense distances, never forming shapes that ask to be recognized. Dust and particles move through these soft glows in loose alignment, each following a slow and patient path, untouched by urgency, untouched by direction. The body remains completely at ease, no sense of position or orientation. Arms rest naturally, legs remain still, the face stays soft and neutral, the muscles around the eyes fully relaxed. Nothing in the body asks for change. Breathing continues quietly in the background, subtle and unforced. Air enters lightly, leaves just as gently. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like a soft space that does not need to be filled, far beyond awareness. Stars continue their gradual shifting, not moving past, not approaching, simply changing emphasis over time. Points of light dim and brighten almost imperceptibly. Patterns form loosely, then dissolve again, leaving only a gentle texture across the dark. A broad, pale cloud of dust drifts across a distant region, its edges indistinct, particles moving together without sound, without contact. This is motion that does not lead anywhere, travel without arrival, continuity without destination. The body feels increasingly integrated with the quiet, not disappearing, just resting more evenly within it. Sensations soften further. Awareness no longer settles on any single point. It spreads gently, calm and unoccupied. Time feels open and undefined. Moments do not arrive or leave. They exist together, layered softly. There is no sense of duration, no need to measure anything. A muted glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, spreading across a wide area, its color subdued and calm. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the darkness, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing pulls forward, nothing pushes back. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, without direction, without destination, and without any need for change. The sense of presence settles even more deeply now, not becoming heavier, simply more complete. Space no longer feels like something surrounding awareness. It feels like awareness itself has softened to match it, evenly spread, quiet, without edges or contrast. Light remains sparse and gentle, thin traces gliding across vast distances, never gathering into brightness, never disappearing entirely. Dust and particles move through these faint glows as if guided by patience rather than force. Each path unhurried, each motion quiet and steady. The body continues to rest in perfect balance. There is no signal of motion, no sense of drifting or turning, only a stable calm that does not require attention. Arms lie without weight, legs remain still. The face stays smooth and relaxed. Breathing flows softly, barely noticeable. Each inhale light and brief, each exhale long and easing. The space between breaths feels wide and undisturbed, like a calm interval where nothing needs to happen. Far across the field of awareness, stars fade further into the background, no longer distinct points, more like a subtle texture woven into the darkness. Changes occur so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing here asks to be followed. A faint ribbon of dust stretches across the distance, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without contact, without sound. This is motion that exists without purpose, steady and complete in itself. The body feels fully settled within the quiet now. Sensations soften to the point of neutrality. Awareness spreads evenly instead of focusing. There is nothing to observe closely, nothing to hold. Time continues to lose meaning, not slowing, not expanding, simply becoming irrelevant. Moments rest together without order, without urgency, without sequence. A muted glow appears briefly, spreading gently across a wide region, its color calm and subdued. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the dark, leaving the surrounding space unchanged. Everything remains held in steady balance: stars, dust, light, and quiet awareness. Nothing moves too fast. Nothing drifts away. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and softened light, allowing the journey to carry on gently, effortlessly, exactly as it is. The calm continues to deepen in a way that feels effortless, not drawing attention to itself, simply becoming more settled. Space no longer suggests movement or distance. It feels evenly present, steady and complete, as if everything has reached a natural resting point. Light remains faint and unassertive, thin traces drifting slowly through vast regions, never bright enough to interrupt the quiet, never absent enough to feel empty. Dust and particles move through these soft glows in patient alignment, each path unfolding without urgency, without resistance. The body remains fully at ease. There is no awareness of position or direction. Arms rest naturally. Legs remain quiet and still. The face stays relaxed, features smooth and neutral. Nothing in the body asks for attention. Breathing continues softly in the background, light and unforced. Air enters gently, leaves just as quietly. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like an open space that does not need to be filled, far beyond awareness. Stars continue their slow and subtle changes, no longer distinct points, more like a gentle texture across the darkness. Some dim slightly, others emerge just enough to be noticed. The shifts unfold so gradually they feel almost still. A broad veil of dust drifts across a distant region, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without sound, without contact. This is motion that carries no destination, continuity without purpose. The body feels completely integrated with the quiet now. Sensations soften further. Awareness spreads evenly instead of settling anywhere specific. There is nothing to focus on, nothing to follow. Time feels open and undefined. Moments do not pass or arrive. They rest together, layered softly. There is no sense of duration, no need to measure anything. A muted glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, spreading gently across a wide area, its color calm and subdued. It does not approach. It does not linger. It fades naturally back into the darkness, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing pulls forward, nothing presses back. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, without direction, without destination, and without any need for change. The stillness feels settled now in a way that no longer shifts or deepens. It simply remains. Space holds its quiet evenly, without contrast, without motion that needs to be noticed. Everything feels balanced and complete. Light continues to appear only as a soft suggestion, faint traces moving slowly through immense distances, never forming shapes, never drawing attention. Dust and particles drift through these gentle glows in patient harmony, each path unfolding without urgency, without resistance. The body rests fully within this calm, no sense of position, no awareness of direction. Arms remain relaxed, legs still, the face smooth and neutral. Even the smallest sensations have softened into quiet neutrality. Breathing flows almost invisibly now, air moving in and out with very little motion, each breath gentle, each pause wide and calm, like an open space where nothing needs to happen, far beyond awareness. Stars blend further into the background, no longer distinct points, more like a subtle texture across the darkness. Changes continue, but so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing forms, nothing dissolves suddenly. A pale field of dust drifts across a distant region, its edges indistinct, particles moving together without sound, without contact. This is motion that exists without destination, continuity that does not lead anywhere. The body feels completely at ease within this quiet. Awareness no longer settles or drifts. It rests evenly, calm and unoccupied. There is nothing to observe closely, nothing to hold on to. Time feels absent now, not slowed, not expanded, simply irrelevant. Moments do not follow one another. They coexist, layered gently, without sequence, without pressure. A faint glow appears briefly, spreading softly across a wide area, muted and calm. It remains just long enough to be present, then fades naturally back into the dark, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance: distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, exactly as it is. The quiet holds steady as everything remains suspended in gentle balance. Nothing shifts suddenly, nothing draws attention. Space feels settled into a calm consistency that does not need to deepen or resolve. It simply stays as it is, even, smooth, unchanging. Light continues to move as a faint presence rather than an event. Thin traces gliding through wide distances, never bright, never absent. Dust and particles drift through these softened glows without contact, without sound, each following a slow path shaped by balance alone. The body remains completely at rest within this stillness. There is no awareness of where it begins or ends, no sense of orientation. Arms lie naturally, legs remain quiet. The face stays relaxed, features smooth and neutral. Nothing in the body asks to be noticed. Breathing continues in the background, subtle and automatic. Air enters gently, leaves just as quietly. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like open space that does not need to be filled. Far across the field of awareness, stars have become part of the darkness itself, no longer points to observe, more like a gentle texture spread evenly through space. Changes still occur, but so slowly they feel timeless. Patterns form loosely, then soften again, without consequence. A thin veil of dust stretches across a distant region, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without friction, without urgency. This is motion that does not imply progress, continuity that does not lead anywhere. The body feels fully integrated with the quiet now, sensations softened to neutrality. Awareness spread evenly rather than focused. There is nothing to follow, nothing to anticipate. Time no longer presents itself as something passing. Moments do not arrive or leave. They simply exist together, layered softly, without order, without pressure. A muted glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, spreading gently across a wide area, its color calm and subdued. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the darkness, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing pulls forward, nothing presses back. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to carry on effortlessly. without direction, without destination, and without any need for change. The calm remains steady and unbroken, not deepening, not fading, simply present. Space feels settled into a quiet equilibrium where nothing needs to shift, nothing needs to arrive. Everything rests exactly where it belongs. Light continues its slow, gentle passage, thin traces drifting through vast regions, never forming shapes that demand attention. Dust and particles move through these soft glows in loose alignment, each path unfolding without urgency, without resistance. The body stays fully at rest within this balance. There is no sense of position, no awareness of movement or stillness. Arms rest naturally, legs remain quiet. The face stays relaxed and neutral. Even subtle sensations have softened into calm neutrality. Breathing flows quietly in the background, light and automatic. Air enters gently, leaves just as softly. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like open space with nothing inside it, far beyond awareness. Stars have blended completely into the darkness, no longer distinct points, more like a faint texture spread evenly through space. Changes still happen, but so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing forms sharply, nothing disappears suddenly. A pale cloud of dust drifts across a distant region, its edges indistinct, particles moving together without sound, without contact. This is motion without destination, continuity without direction. The body feels entirely integrated with the quiet now. Awareness no longer drifts or settles. It simply rests, even, calm, unoccupied. There is nothing to observe closely, nothing to follow. Time no longer suggests sequence or duration. Moments do not pass. They coexist, layered gently, without order, without pressure. A faint glow appears briefly, spreading softly across a wide area, muted and calm. It remains just long enough to be present, then fades naturally back into the dark, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, exactly as it is. The sense of calm remains constant, no longer unfolding, no longer settling, simply present in a quiet, stable way. Space feels even and complete, not something to move through, not something to observe, just something that holds everything gently. Light drifts almost imperceptibly now, thin traces moving across enormous distances, never bright enough to interrupt the quiet, never fading enough to disappear. Dust and particles pass through these softened glows without touching, without sound, each following a slow and patient course. The body continues to rest without reference. There is no awareness of form or position. Arms and legs remain still. The face stays smooth and relaxed. Sensations have softened to the point where they no longer ask to be noticed. Breathing continues quietly, subtle and automatic. Air enters gently, leaves just as softly. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like open space that does not need to be filled, far beyond awareness. Stars exist only as a faint suggestion now, no longer points or patterns, more like a gentle texture woven into the darkness. Changes still occur, but so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing draws attention, nothing demands recognition. A thin veil of dust stretches across the distance, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without friction, without urgency. This is motion without progress, continuity without destination. The body feels fully integrated with the quiet. Awareness rests evenly, calm and unoccupied. There is nothing to anticipate, nothing to follow, nothing to resolve. Time feels absent here, not slowed, not expanded, simply no longer relevant. Moments do not arrive or leave. They exist together, layered softly, without order, without pressure. A muted glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, spreading gently across a wide area, its color subdued and calm. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the darkness, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift continues, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to carry on effortlessly, without direction, without destination, and without any need for change. The quiet remains steady and consistent, not changing in texture or depth, simply holding. Space feels evenly balanced now, without edges, without distance to measure. Nothing moves closer, nothing moves away. Light appears only as a faint presence, thin traces drifting slowly through vast regions, never gathering into brightness, never disappearing completely. Dust and particles move through these softened glows without contact, without sound, each following a calm and patient course. The body stays fully at rest, no sense of position or orientation, arms relaxed, legs quiet. The face remains soft and neutral. Even the awareness of the body has become light and diffuse. Breathing continues quietly in the background, subtle and automatic, each inhale gentle, each exhale slow and easing. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like open space that does not need to be filled, far beyond awareness. Stars have softened into the darkness itself, no longer distinct points, more like a gentle texture spread evenly through space. Changes still occur, but so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing forms sharply, nothing fades suddenly. A pale cloud of dust drifts across a distant region, its edges indistinct, particles moving together without friction, without urgency. This is motion that carries no direction, continuity that does not lead anywhere. The body feels completely integrated with the quiet now. Awareness rests evenly, calm and unoccupied. There is nothing to observe closely, nothing to follow, nothing to anticipate. Time no longer presents itself as sequence or duration. Moments do not pass, they coexist, layered softly, without order, without pressure. A faint glow appears briefly, spreading gently across a wide area, muted and calm. It remains just long enough to be present, then fades naturally back into the dark, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, exactly as it is. The calm continues without interruption, no longer unfolding or settling, simply remaining. Space feels smooth and even, without direction, without distance that needs to be measured. Everything rests exactly where it is. Light drifts so gently it barely feels like movement. Faint traces passing through wide regions, never forming shapes, never drawing attention. Dust and particles move through these softened glows in quiet alignment, each following its own slow path, untouched by urgency. The body remains fully at ease. There is no sense of form or position now. Arms and legs feel distant and neutral. The face remains soft, the muscles around the eyes completely relaxed. Nothing in the body asks to be noticed. Breathing continues softly in the background, subtle and automatic. Air enters gently, leaves just as quietly. The pause between breaths feels wide and calm, like open space with nothing inside it, far beyond awareness. Stars exist only as a quiet suggestion, no longer points or patterns, more like a faint texture within the darkness. Changes still occur, but so slowly they feel timeless. Nothing emerges sharply, nothing disappears suddenly. A thin veil of dust stretches across a distant region, pale and diffuse, particles moving together without sound, without contact. This is motion without destination, continuity without direction. The body feels completely integrated with the quiet. Awareness rests evenly, calm and unoccupied. There is nothing to follow, nothing to anticipate, nothing to resolve. Time feels absent here, not slowed, not expanded, simply no longer relevant. Moments do not arrive or leave. They exist together, layered softly, without order, without pressure. A muted glow appears briefly at the edge of perception, spreading gently across a wide area, its color subdued and calm. It does not approach, it does not linger. It fades naturally back into the darkness, leaving everything unchanged. Space continues to hold everything in steady balance. Distant stars, drifting dust, softened light, and quiet awareness. Nothing presses forward, nothing pulls away. The drift carries on, slow and uninterrupted, surrounded by calm darkness and gentle light, allowing the journey to continue effortlessly, exactly as it is. The quiet no longer feels like something surrounding you. It feels like something complete, settled, unchanged. Space holds its balance without effort. Darkness remains even and calm. Nothing shifts, nothing fades. Light rests at the far edges of awareness, faint and steady, no longer moving in a way that can be noticed. Dust and distant stars exist together in a softened stillness, without pattern, without contrast. The body rests beyond sensation now. No weight, no position, no signal of movement or stillness. Breathing continues on its own, light, minimal, with wide pauses that feel open and undisturbed. Time has fully released its structure. Moments no longer connect. They do not pass or arrive. They simply remain, layered gently, without sequence, without expectation. There is nothing to follow here, nothing to observe, nothing to wait for. The drift has become indistinguishable from rest. Motion and stillness feel the same. Space continues to hold everything quietly. Light, darkness, and calm awareness, unchanged, balanced, complete. And the journey does not need to continue, because everything is already exactly where it belongs.